It looks like it's failed, at least so far, Manu, to impeach the Secretary of Homeland Security.
This is a setback, a major setback, one that they had pushed hard to get done and expected this would happen swiftly, but blowing back at them, even as they expected they would have the votes.
Hey guys, it's Tim Miller with the Bulwark. An epic clusterfuck in the House Republican Conference. To call these guys the gang that can't shoot straight would be about the nicest way to describe them. They have no idea what they're doing and have no ability to govern. And we learned tonight, not only do they not have the ability to govern, they aren't even very good at the fake kayfabe non-governing that they've been doing of late. Let's just explain what's been happening. The House Republicans decided they wanted to impeach Biden Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over the border chaos that we've been seeing and the number of migrants that have been crossing the border over the last few years. Now, to be candid, I don't know that the Biden administration has handled this situation particularly well. A lot of this is out of their hands. A lot of this is related to instability in Central America, people traveling to come to the country. Obviously, we're a welcoming country, but folks have been abusing our asylum laws. That are used to help people that are fleeing oppression in other countries. There are ways to address this or ways to fix this. I talked about this a bunch on Ballot Box with Bill Kristol and how the Republicans right now are the ones that are standing in the way of Democratic attempts to try to fix the asylum process. But anyway, it's not neither here nor there. We don't impeach cabinet secretaries because we don't think they've done a great job implementing policies. Like, that's not how impeachment works. Impeachment is about high crimes and misdemeanors. But this Republican conference has a very slim majority and is totally incapable of passing a single law, any law, without the Democrats' help. They can't even keep the government open without the Democrats' help. Thought that they could just do this kind of show pony, lib-owning nonsense instead. So instead of passing laws, maybe they'll just bring up and start impeaching people, start investigating people, maybe, run Hunter Biden, through the paces. Like, this is all the House Republicans have left since they're incapable of governing. Here's the thing, though. They're not even capable of doing that, it turns out. They're not even capable of following through on their own bullshit. The impeachment vote tonight ended up 215 for impeachment, 215 against. Tie goes to the runner, and Alejandro Mayorkas is not impeached. That ends up being 216, 214, because one of the Republicans switched their vote to give them the opportunity to bring this up again. If a bill is tied, you can't bring it up to another vote. Since it was defeated, now they can try to impeach him in a few weeks if they want to. Here was the thing that happened tonight. All of the Democrats showed up to the vote. They all voted against impeachment, even Dean Phillips, who's primarying Biden right now and was looking kind of chummy with some of the House Republicans, according to reports from the floor. Not all the Republicans were able to go. Kevin McCarthy quit his job. Oops. Steve Scalise has cancer, sadly, and was unable to attend for health reasons. George Santos got expelled from the House for being a total fraud and a liar and a con man. One of the House Republicans, Anna Paulina Luna, was quoted as saying, maybe we shouldn't have expelled George Santos over this. So they think the answer to fixing their incompetence is bringing a con man back into the Congress. This is how pathetic these guys are. So usually how this goes is House speakers only bring up votes when they know they have the votes. They have somebody on their team that's called the House Whip. The whip is in charge of counting the votes. Tom Emmer is the whip for this House. He is a guy that also ran for speaker himself, lost, he got cucked by Donald Trump, by some of the other members who weren't happy that he had in the past expressed support for gays and had not been totally effusive in support of the Donald Trump coup. So he did not get the job as speaker, but they kept him in there as whip. And these guys can't even count their own people. They lost 3 votes. Ken Buck from Colorado, who is a former Tea Party congressman that seems to be going through a midlife crisis of sorts and is planning on leaving Congress. Mike Gallagher is always one of the more center-right Republicans that we're at the Bulwark always imploring to do the right thing. He does so in this case. And Tom McClintock out of California. So the Republicans lose 3. 1 doesn't show up. They only have a 4-seat majority. There you go. You end up with a tie. And so it's kind of hard to really put into words for people that are not, congressional nerds. They're not kind of obsessed with the minutia of this stuff. Just how incompetent this is. I mean, this Congress, they couldn't keep a speaker. They can't keep the government open. They can't even pass a damn show vote that wasn't ever going to go anywhere. It's not like Mayorkas was going to get convicted by the Democratic Senate. Like, the whole point of this was just to try to embarrass Biden and try to give little Donnie Trump a talking point about how he wasn't the only one that was impeached. Also, Biden's DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was impeached too. It'd be fun to listen to Trump to say his name. This, needless to say, is not the way that Congress works. It is a reflection of just the total chaos that is the Republican conference. It's also a reflection of their nihilism. I mean, for a little historical context here, the last cabinet secretary that was impeached was War Secretary William Belknap in 1876. He was Ulysses S. Grant's war secretary after the Civil War. And dude was corrupt. He's cashing in on, military contracts, things of this nature. It seems like him and his wife liked to wine and dine back in the roaring 1870s. And so he gets impeached for the reason that you get impeached: crimes and misdemeanors, corruption. That is how this happens. Only 3 other cabinet officials had ever been impeached besides Belknap, all before him, and nothing since then. All of the 1900s, all of the 2000s. And so these guys use this tool that is supposed to be reserved for removing people who have committed the worst crimes and who have broken their oath to the Constitution. And instead they recklessly throw it out there just to win some news cycles, criticizing Mayorkas for whom they have no... they can't even answer. None of them, they've been asked about this. They don't have any answers for what his crimes are. It is just simply that they're unhappy with the way that he's managed the border. So this is, once again, extremely pathetic. Once again, completely inept when it comes to the Republican Congress. But that's about what we've come to expect from these guys. So hopefully, Gallagher, Buck, and McClintock can lead them to the light, and maybe instead of trying to have this stupid impeachment vote again, they can do what Congress is supposed to do and actually work with Democrats across the aisle, work with members of their conference to try to figure out how to come up with a compromise that would solve some of the problems at the border, and hey, maybe also fund our allies in Ukraine as well in the face of the attack that they're facing from Vladimir Putin. More on that debate, as I said, with Bill over at Ballot Box. Make sure you're checking that out. Make sure you're subscribed to this feed. You'll be seeing a lot from me here. We'll check you soon. Peace.